What's up guys, Adam T Exotics, welcome to the video. This one's going to be a little bit different. I've got Louise, who's my 10-year-old. She wanted to come and show you guys her top 3 favourite snakes in the collection, and she's going to tell you why that she likes those snakes. So we're going to give her a bit of camera time and see how she gets on. But she's really excited, so bear with her, and she's going to run through her top 3 snakes in the collection. Okay, so this is Louise. So hi Lou.
Hi.
And Louise is going to, like I said, run through her top 3 snakes in the collection, and she's going to tell us why she likes those snakes. So which one are you going to go for first?
The Super Vanilla Pasta Butter Female.
Okay. Do you want to grab it out for me? She's got to use a stool because she's too small.
I think it's hiding under the paper.
That's right. Not all the way out. Not all the way out. So you want to take, that's it. Just there. And you're going to use one hand to lift the paper up, and then the other hand, nice and confidently, pick her up around here. That's it.
There you go.
Good as gold. Okay, and turn yourself around. Okay, so what is this snake?
This snake is a Super Vanilla Pastel Butter Female.
Yeah. And what do you like about her?
I like the patterns and the vanilla-y colours.
Yeah.
And she's very gentle and very calm.
She's very calm, isn't she? Turn her around for me. Onto her belly, so we can see her back. Other side.
What, other side?
Yeah, other side. That's it. This is so we can see her patterns like that. And she's an absolute stunner, isn't she? You got her?
Yeah.
Okay, so the good thing about her when we breed her is because she's a super vanilla, every baby that she has is going to be at least a vanilla. Okay? So she can't throw any normals in her clutch. They're all going to be at least a vanilla. And obviously with the pastel butter as well, she can throw all kinds of things. So is that your number 3 favourite snake?
Yeah, that's my 3rd favourite.
Yeah, okay, pop her back. And what is your number 2 favourite snake?
My 2nd favourite snake is the OD Bumblebee Male.
Okay, yeah, put him out. Just be a bit more confident with this one. That's it, he's absolutely fine. Okay. And why do you like this one?
Again, I like the tiger-like stripe patterns on him.
Yeah.
And he has the lovely, kind of patchy coloured skin.
Yeah.
And he's very, very gentle.
He is very gentle, isn't he? And he is actually going to his new home very, very soon, because he was the giveaway snake, wasn't he? So he's actually going to Aki's Reptiles. So he won't be here for much longer.
No.
But he will be sadly missed because he is, like you say, he's very beautiful. And what is he?
He is an OD Bumblebee.
So he's an Orange Dream Bumblebee. He is very pretty. Do you want to turn him around for me? So everyone can see what he looks like. And this is what's so good about the Orange Dream. It just really, really accentuates that black pattern.
It's also like a tiger stripe, isn't it?
It's very much like a tiger stripe, you're right. Okay, do you want to pop him back? So we've looked at number 3, we've looked at number 2. So what would you say out of all the snakes here, and there's a few of them, is your number 1 favourite snake? Do you want to show me your number 1 snake? No, number 1 snake?
Coral Globe Pied.
Coral Globe Pied. This is one of my favourites as well. I'll put it out a bit further. That's it.
Very pretty. Here he is.
Okay, and why is he your number 1 favourite snake?
I like the blackish brownish freckles on him, and I also like the fact that he's got the white line, the very the whitish tail on him.
Yeah, and that comes with the pied, doesn't it? And that can vary, doesn't it? Remember when we spoke about the pieds?
Yeah.
And we said about the different amounts of white that they can come with.
And I also like the white tip on the tip of his tail.
He's got a lovely white tip, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we grab out the other pieds that we've got?
Yep.
Yeah. Just so we can have a look, because pied's probably one of my favourites as well. So in here we got just a normal pied, and she's in the shed, isn't she? But
yeah.
let's pull her out. Do you want me to pull her out for you? You can get on the stool.
Hi, gorgeous.
That's it. Nice and confident. That's it.
Very pretty, aren't you?
There we go.
There you go.
Okay, so see the amount of white on her. So she's what we call a low white pied. Yeah, because she's not got a lot of white on her at all. So she's actually got less white than that coral glow pied. And she's really deep in shed, so she's really, you know, darker than what she normally is. But that's why I like the low white pieds, because when you start stacking other genes into it, they look amazing. When you can start putting genes on top of that pattern, especially simple genes like Yellow Belly and Orange Dream and things like that. The lower white it is, the more it shows up the pattern. Do you want to pop her back then? We get the other pied out. And the other pied's in the other rack. She's the Pinto pied. And this one here.
I think she might be one of my other favourites as well.
I think she's probably my favourite. Can you grab her?
Oh, you're big and heavy, aren't you?
And turn yourself around. That's it. Close the top up.
You don't want them.
Okay. So she's probably my favourite pied in the collection. She's a Pinto pied, so she's a pied Het Russo. And a defining characteristic of the Pinto pied is the head. See how it looks like she's got a mask on?
Mm-hmm.
Now most pieds are completely covered, their heads are completely patterned. But this Pinto pied sort of didn't really decide what it wanted to do when it was in the egg. And that Het Russo gene is playing around with it so much so that it's resulted in this lovely mask. Now she's what I would call a high white pied. Do you want to tilt her towards me? That's it, so we can see how much white she's got. And she's got a lot of white compared to the other two we just shown, isn't she?
Mm-hmm. Very pretty. She's like a jaguar with her patches.
And is that what you like about her?
Yeah, and I like the fact that she's got all this clear white. She's like snow.
Yeah, it's white as snow, isn't it?
It's as white as snow, and then she has the patches, which kind of like, there's like jaguar spots.
That's right.
Or leopard spots.
And she's an absolute stunner. I can't wait till she's big enough to breed.
She'll throw some lovely babies, won't she?
She will give us some beautiful babies. Do you want to pop her back then?
Pinto. That's it. You right? Yeah. Okay.
So guys, that was Louise's top 3 snakes in the collection. What do you think about that?
They were amazing.
They were good, weren't they?
Yep.
Yeah. And Louise has actually come up with a couple of questions that she wants to ask me, so I'll do my best to answer them. Do you remember what they were?
Yeah.
Go on.
So, does every pied have its own colour, or do they all have the same kind of pattern?
No, like just we've seen, the coral glow pied and the normal pied. You know how we were talking about the amount of whites they have?
Oh, yeah.
So they're like fingerprints. No two snakes will be the exact same, especially when it comes to things like pieds, because they will throw different amounts of white and different amounts of pattern. And sometimes when you put other genes in it, so when you put a spider to a pied, it's called a spide. And they are 95% of the time, or 99% of the time, completely white with just the head patterned. So certain genes can influence it, but no two pieds will ever look the same. Next question.
Out of all of your pies, which one do you think is your favourite?
The one we just saw, the Pinto pied, she's definitely my favourite, yeah. I think pieds come in such a variety of colours these days. And you can put so many genes onto the pieds, but she's just a simple pied Het Russo. Obviously that Het Russo has an influence on the actual look of the animal, but yeah, she's definitely my favourite.
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I've got one more question.
Go on.
Out of, for example, like, I don't actually know.
You got stage fright?
Yeah.
Yeah. You think?
No.
No?
No.
Not where they come from or how big they get?
How,
You can tell this is unscripted, guys.
has any of your pieds in here come from the wild, like directly?
No. All these babies, all these snakes are all captive bred, which means that they are bred from snakes that have been in captivity, never been in the wild. So they don't know what the wild's like. They don't know.
So do you think they wouldn't be able to survive a couple of days?
Pieds wouldn't survive in the wild. That's simply because of what they look like. Now, when you get a normal ball python or a raw python, remember what a normal one looks like? Mm-hmm. They camouflage. So they camouflage so they can hide in the woodlands and in the scrub areas of Africa. Now, if you've got a bright white snake, then everything's going to see it. All the birds, all the hyenas and things like that. All the animals that would eat snakes could see it and they couldn't hide. So things like albinos, things like pieds, anything that's brightly coloured would not survive in the wild at all.
Like our pinto pied one.
She wouldn't survive a day, I bet.
Yeah, she's too pretty.
Now some people would say that it's cruel to keep snakes as pets. Some people will say it's cruel to keep snakes in racks and tubs. But the way I see it is, although it's not in the wild, although it's not cruising around the savannah in Africa, these snakes are very private animals. They like spending a lot of their time underground or in termite mounds and things like that. Now, snakes in captivity, I think the oldest one on record lived for nearly 50 years in America. You'd have to Google that, guys, but I'm pretty sure it's nearly 50 years old. In the wild...
Do you know what breed of snake it was?
It was a ball python like these. The oldest one on record, I believe, was nearly 50 years old. But in the wild, they wouldn't survive, half of them wouldn't survive 5 years because of disease, parasites, being eaten by other animals, being poached by humans. This way, although they're not kept like in the wild, they get food regularly, and we know that food is perfectly good for them. There's no nasties or no nasty bacteria or parasites within the rats that we feed them. And do you know how we know that? Because we breed our own, don't we? Yeah, so we know that they're good rats. We know what they eat, so we know what is going into our snakes. Also, we know there's no parasites. They can't get any nasty ticks that can pass on disease and infection. And also, they're guaranteed fresh water, which is very important. So we change their waters here every other day probably, or unless they're defecating them, then they change straight away. But when you add all those things up together, we're guaranteeing that snake lives a much longer, healthy, happy life than it would do in the wild. That's my personal opinion. You guys might think differently, but that's what I think. Have you got any more questions?
No, that's it from me.
That's it from you?
Yeah.
Okay. So like I say, guys, Louise's top 3 snakes. A few questions that she had for me. You see she got a bit of stage fright there. She wasn't very well prepared, were you?
No.
No, I said go and find me some questions, and she sort of got sidetracked watching the telly probably, didn't you?
No.
Yeah. No. So Lou, have you got anything else you want to say before we go?
Yeah, thank you for watching. Please subscribe down below and leave a comment. Thank you.
Thanks guys, we'll see you next time.
Bye.